to duel in the desert. Lynn St. James waves the green flag. We're underway.
Way down low with Brad Keselowski. That's as low as I think I've ever seen anybody, Jeff.
I mean, he must have cut about 50 feet off of this racetrack at least.
Kyle Busch also way to the inside. He's going to pop up in 5th. Side by side with Blaney.
Already 3 wide going into turn 3.
Very tight corner.
And you can see right now nobody in that traction compound when the tires are cold, air pressures are low, and it's sat overnight with some dust and debris. These guys are going to easily creep up there, but once they get up there, it will be the dominant lane.
You're exactly right, Jeff. That traction compound takes time. You got to get it some temperature in it. Scrubbing this Goodyear rubber onto it. After a handful of laps here, you'll see him migrate to the outside as you see Denny Hamlin right here already testing the waters, right?
He and Kyle Busch just kind of tickling that traction compound. And here we go for the lead with Hamlin to the inside.
Great crossover move. Denny Hamlin had some momentum off that top lane. Able to make that stick. Goes to the lead. Here comes his teammate Christopher Bell trying to go for second.
Very hard thing to trust, Jeff, when you're trying to figure out the grip level that's in that and if it's ready or not.
Yeah, no, you're right, Clint. You know, you're starting to see guys up there, but nobody wants to do it on that first lap. Just not sure. Let's watch Brad Keselowski cut.
He's limbo. He's doing a limbo here,
Where's
Jeff.
he going, Jeff?
That's how low you can go right there.
It's on pit road.
You cannot go any lower. That is, I've never seen that. You know he's been planning that move overnight, maybe all week.
Maybe all winter.
Well, I can promise you nobody was going to pass him on the bottom.
Martin Truex coming on the high side, closes the gap to 3rd.
Martin Truex Jr. has been the first guy to really get those right side tires up in that traction compound, and he's making it work. Those guys are going to have to watch their mirror, even though we've got Christopher Bell on the inside trying to make a pass and work in that bottom lane. That top lane looks really strong already here early.
Now watch the 14 of Chase Briscoe on the high side there.
Got him pretty hot.
Ooh, locked up a tire there.
Yeah, got into his teammate of Cole Custer right there in a 41 car. He just got in way too hot. Those guys checked up in front of him, and he had to lock the brakes up to get into it. I don't think that was bad enough to hurt it and affect him, but certainly close call. The other thing is, when we talk about this traction compound and the grip level that it has, it's very important to understand at home just how much different it has. Once this thing comes in, it's a massive, massive difference. Literally the difference between almost driving on, you know, a slick, wet condition to a dry condition. That's the grip level difference between these cars. And then all of a sudden we talk about the trustworthiness of it. This is where the communication and the spotter, you don't necessarily know up front where it is. That spotter communication, he's watching guys in the back and telling you everything that he's seeing.
A little bit of smoke from Anthony Alfredo back at 31st place as we watch 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th here.
No surprise to see Denny Hamlin up front leading this race. He has run extremely strong and dominated this race at times. A couple wins under his belt, but I'm impressed with Christopher Bell, his teammate behind him. That car looks like it's got a lot of speed. He's not having to use, like we see Martin Truex Jr., all 4 tires up in that traction compound, that darker area. That's what we talk about, where that extra grip is.
Now that compound will play more of a factor here than it did in yesterday's Xfinity race, because yesterday was quite cool. It never got to 60 degrees. We're starting this race with a track temperature of nearly 100 degrees at the asphalt, and so that traction compound should get quite a workout today.
And definitely does, and as it does that, it also starts to wear out. That's when it gets interesting, trying to keep up with the racetrack. All right, now you get back down on the bottom, trying to go the shortest way around. Right now, this is definitely going to be the fastest way around as soon as this stuff comes in, as it obviously is.
James Davis in there going a lap down. So it's Penske 1, 2, 3, Gibbs 4 and 6, Hendrick 5th and 8th now, with Harvick 7th.
You see that 9 car, Chase Elliott right there coming into the screen, been laying some really good laps down. Those boys, they started at the back, but they're coming. Won a championship this track last year. These guys better be making some adjustments, because those guys are coming quick.
Pit road is closed with 2 laps to go in stage 1.
Looking forward to seeing these teammates battle for this stage win. There's a playoff point on the line here.
And that's a point you carry all the way through
22.
just the last race of the year.
Got loose right there.
That perfectly showed the difference of the grip on that inside lane versus that darker lane where the traction compound is. Blaney did a nice job rolling through 1 and 2 that time.
Yeah, he's got a 4-length lead going into turn 3. 4th is at stake here, and so is 2nd. Keselowski moving in. Not going to happen. 4th, side by side, and Hamlin takes it. Blaney picks up his first stage win of the season. His teammates Logano and Blaney up front. Keselowski back in 5th behind Hamlin and Elliott. Out of the Geico restart zone, and here we go.
Mid. All right, 2 wide here. 3. 3 again. Straddling 2.
That's Eddie DeHaan, Chase Elliott spotter.
Just the 11. Clear, tucked in. Good roll up top there. Got room.
See Kevin Harvick down on the apron. Boy, he's showing some muscle in that restart. Tried to get to the inside of Brad Keselowski. They might have even touched a little bit, but just didn't work out for Kevin Harvick. He actually lost a couple positions.
Well, fending that track position off. You know, we talked about these Hendrick cars coming, some of them catching them on these, the pit stop re-racked them. You've got to be able to keep those guys behind you. He knows the importance of that as a champion race car driver.
Front 5 on the bottom, the next 4 way up in the top lane in turns 3 and 4. This is 9th place.
AJ and Kyle Busch fires off fast. We'll see if the adjustments that they made on pit road, if those are going to help it on the long run. But you see he's able to make some good moves, make some passes that some others aren't able to make in that bottom groove. Will it last, though, in the long run? We'll wait and see.
Oh, Chris Buescher caught in the middle. Eric Jones, who had a fine 10th place finish last week, trying to rebound from an earlier decision where they took no tires on one stop, and now trying to work their way back up into the top 20. Bubba Wallace right behind Ricky Stenhouse. I love the graphics on this car. They are bold without being too busy. Gets the message across. Sharp looking race car.
Makes me want a quarter pounder. Maybe a double.
And that, right?
Pretty nice run for both Bubba Wallace and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. right ahead of him.
Kurt Busch in 13th. Let's get a little more insight on that long pit stop for Martin Truex.
Hopefully we'll be a lot better now. Look at the rear where it should be. It was quite, the right rear was like hammered all the way in.
I hear you. I don't see it fixing the front tires, though.
Yeah, well, we made a fair few changes there as well, so let us know if it's any better.
Well, the caution is back out. Anthony Alfredo torn the back of his car off, exiting turn 2.
Joey Logano, the leader, was in the booth for the Xfinity Series race yesterday, and his teammate Austin Cindric won. Well, Joey watched and made mental notes for today's race. Things like what the traction compound does, how the track changes, and what they should do on air pressure adjustments. It's helping today. Car has been good right now, just saying he's freer off and can't pivot, can't turn in the center like he could earlier.
Well, he's got his hands full now with Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez coming up because they all want to finish this stage on the lead lap if they can.
You know, it's very interesting to hear her say that about his comments about being up here, because the first thing I noticed was different lines, how people are entering this traction compound, how they are. Do they get on it immediately? Do they slide up into it? Do they diamond it? All those things are a different vantage point than I've ever seen up here.
Well, that 19 of Mark Truex Jr. is coming fast. I think this might be the best that could happen to this 22 team because they've been out there with a car that's been handling extremely well. They need to make some adjustments to get back ahead of this racetrack and possibly stay ahead of the 19 here, Mark Truex Jr., because he's the best car on the track right now.
Well, the 22 car has obviously been in massive traffic as well, having to navigate around there, moving around.
8th place here. Chevy, Ford, and Toyota, all three makes, Clint, involved in
you know, when we talked about Eric in the 10 car right now, he's got to get these stage points. We obviously showed you the points that he has to gain to make his way, find his ways to be back here racing for a championship. That's why you see him going at it so hard coming down to the closing laps of this stage.
Yeah, he's in position to get 2 stage points, while Matt DiBenedetto, we also profiled there, is not back in 12th.
I think Joey Logano seeing that 19 car getting closer and closer, getting a little antsy here. Ross Chastain giving him a hard time trying to stay in the lead lap. And you can't blame Ross Chastain. That's exactly what he needs to be doing. Matter of fact, the 99 there of Suarez, he's going to try to get in the mix of this too if he can.
Yeah, the 42 right here fending off that leader, that's everything. This is his whole race. He needs to stay on the lead lap to give himself a chance at the end of this race.
Whoa, 4th as they split Ryan Preece with 2 Penske teammates. And now Logano now.
Yeah,
Suarez has got to go, and he
outside.
is there. Suarez is right there, because if Logano had passed Chastain, then Suarez would not have gotten the free pass. So they both had to get out and ahead of Joey Logano, who wins stage 2, 4th career stage win at Phoenix, and 1st of 2021 for the young man from Middletown.
You know, we talk about, I guess the only way I know how to say it coming from dirt is jumping the cushion. You can see where this groove is burned into this traction compound and where it's not. That outside where it's not as black and the marbles are, more importantly, you get those marbles on your tires, the friction in between them is gone, the grip level's gone, and you're going to be in the fence.
Here's the same look at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, look how clean it is.
So we talked about how that traction compound burns the Goodyear rubber into it, gets more grippy as the temperature gets up. And again, if you get those marbles on your tires, it's just like being on ice and you're going to be in the wall. We saw that time and time again. If the cautions start coming out at the end of this thing, pushing and shoving, you're going to be up into it and you're going to be in the wall.
5th place, Larson. Blaney trying to hold him back
Oh, what about this?
for the lead.
Wow, man, that did not take long at all for Mark Truex Jr. to take the lead from Joey Logano.
See if Truex was able to use that lapped car ahead as a pick.
See, zero there.
Yeah, absolutely. What he did was that Joey Logano had to do a slide job, checked up a little bit right there, the 19, and then he gets loose up off the corner. The 19 went in on the traction compound, got turned under him on the throttle, away he goes.
I'm just so impressed at what Mark Truex Jr. did, and did he find something right there by backing up that entry of the corner, turning the car early and getting that long drive off the exit of the corner. I haven't seen anybody really be able to make that work. I know Logano had a little issue because of that slower car, but I like more about what Truex did to change his line.
Joey Logano a 2.5 seconds back with 4 to go. Here's Martin Truex, spotter Drew Herring, crew chief James Small.
So you're Mark Truex Jr. You know your car is good, but you're looking in your mirror, you're watching.
3-4 here.
You hear them talking about how many laps to go, but every time you come off the corner and you get on that straightaway, you're looking in your mirror. What did that driver gain? Did I gain on them? If they gain, you immediately say, tell me where they're running.
This eerie silence, though, as a leader, you know, counting down these laps, especially when they get into the single digits, man. You know, you heard that spotter 3 to go, 2 to go, and then finally that last lap. When you want to get to that last lap, it's almost like it's your fastest lap of the race because you're trying to get around to that white flag to solidify this race win. But also just trying to make sure you're doing all your things, keep off of the brake pedal as much as you can, Don't squirt the gas. Just be super smooth.
And pray no caution comes
No
out.
caution, no caution, no caution.
8th place, Christopher Bell makes the pass. Byron crosses him back over. White flag. Still side by side for 8th. BJ McLeod pulls aside for Martin Truex, who has a 1.8 second lead on Joey Logano. Martin Truex Jr. cruising to his 28th career win in the NASCAR Cup Series. Truex wins Phoenix.
Awesome job by everybody. James, Blake fixing it, all the pit crew guys. I mean, just really solid. I mean, I thought at the beginning of the race, I thought we were going to run 15th or so. And, man, I can't really believe it. I'm kind of speechless. This feels pretty amazing, Phoenix has been a tough one for us, and to come here and win this, I wish it was November, but, hopefully we can come back here in November and have a shot at being in the Final Four.